able. Well, it's good to have you here on the main news tonight. I'm Justin Mahlahla, and we are joined by Nobo Maungwa at the Sign Language Desk.
And I'm Tariro Manamike with Dora Ngube at our Montrose studios. But for now, let's take a look at the leading story. SADC Executive Secretary Mr. Elias Magosi meets Regional Chairperson President Emmerson Mnangagwa to discuss the extraordinary summit agenda.
And in business, Zimtrade expects exports to reach over $7 billion United States dollars by December.
And in business, Zimbabwe's manufacturing industry is on course to achieving above 60% annual capacity utilization.
And later on in sport, the Warriors take on the indomitable Lions of Cameroon in a 2025 AFCON qualifier this Tuesday.
And now for our stories in detail. SADC Executive Secretary Mr. Elias Magosi has paid a courtesy call on the regional chairperson, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, at State House in Harare.
And the meeting comes as Zimbabwe hosts the extraordinary summit of the regional bloc this Wednesday. We get more from our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio.
Zimbabwe is currently hosting the SADC Extraordinary Summit, which began on the 17th and will run until the 20th. While some meetings are being held at varying levels of leadership, the heads of state are expected to meet on Wednesday for the Troika and the Extraordinary Summit. As he paid a courtesy call on the regional bloc's chairperson, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, SADC Executive Secretary Mr. Elias Magosi said among the issues discussed was the agenda of the meeting.
The preparations are going very well. You know, all these meetings, they lead up to the main summit. The organ tracker is the one that prepares the agenda of peace and security for the main summit. So that's why it's meeting on the 19th. But there are meetings prior to that. The ministerial committee of the organ, which prepares the agenda for peace and security, and then the council that is meeting this afternoon, chaired by Honorable Minister here, which looks at matters of finance and matters of policy. Those are all leading up to the two summits, as you've stated. So the preparations are going very well. The committees are meeting, and documents are prepared accordingly. This is our normal way of doing business. One of the key things is the main summit itself, what will be covered, and that will be chairing that summit. It's an extraordinary summit, obviously. So there are a few items that have been discussed.
Mr. Magosi said they also discussed the SADC chairperson's upcoming visit to the Secretariat offices in Botswana to familiarize himself with the work of the Secretariat, noting that dates for President Mnangagwa's visit are being finalized. Zimbabwe's industrialization strides also came under discussion amid expectations that President Mnangagwa will share notes with his regional colleagues.
As the chair of SADC, he's supposed to visit the Secretariat in Botswana. So we've been working on the dates of when he can come. So those dates, I think, are being firmed up, and then he will be coming into Botswana to appreciate the work of SADC that I'm heading, but also to receive the main SADC headquarters, which has been a triple P agreement. He will be receiving it on behalf of the SADC member states or the region in Botswana, together with the President of Botswana, President Boko. And the third is really to assist us to drive the industrialization. We do recognize what the Republic of Zimbabwe is doing on the industrialization process, really making sure that a lot of things are happening in the country, are developing products and goods and not shipping them in raw form. So Zimbabwe is a good example, and we wanted him to actually lead his colleagues and make sure that they also come here to learn and benefit from that. And the last one is just the issue of Regional Development Fund, ratification of those instruments so that we can get it operationalized. So these are the issues we discussed with the President.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murwira said all is going well for the extraordinary summit.
We are very pleased working with the Secretariat. Everything is in order. and we are looking forward to a successful summit.
The summit is being held at the new Parliament building in Mount Hampden. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
Meanwhile, the SADC Council of Ministers meeting was held at the new Parliament building in Mount Hampden to deliberate on issues of peace and security within the region. Our foreign editor, Oline Ndori, gives us more details.
The council, chaired by Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murira, is deliberating the agenda for the extraordinary summit of heads of state and government following recommendations by the Ministerial Committee of the organ held this Sunday, as well as the senior officials meeting held earlier this morning. SADC Executive Secretary, His Excellency Mr. Elias Makhosi, said the region must come together and respond to the crisis in the DRC.
Since the deployment of the SAMI DRC, I wish to report that the security situation in the mission area of operation remains relatively calm, and diplomatic initiatives undertaken over the last 4 months, including the 2-week humanitarian truce that was reached in July this year, and a ceasefire deal reached between the governments of Rwanda and DRC on the 4th of August this year. However, the security situation in this part of the country remains a source of regional concern, requiring constant monitoring and reflection.
A chairperson of the council, Professor Amon Murira, said finding lasting solutions to the Eastern DRC conflict will speak directly to the SADC development and aspirations for peace and security for the bloc.
Our meeting is an affirmation of our enduring commitment to a stable and secure Southern African Development Community region. You will agree with me that peace and security remains an essential prerequisite to the attainment of our regional development agenda. Not only does it play a crucial role in the regional cooperation integration, but also creates a safe environment for our people to thrive. Honorable Ministers, we are here to consider the security situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, informed by the Field Assessment Mission report. Our meeting should provide recommendations on the future of the mandate of SAMI DRC to our principals. We are concerned with the security and humanitarian situation in the DRC. Our hearts go out to our brothers and sisters who have been internally displaced in that region. It is therefore important that we take urgent and decisive measures to bring lasting peace and stability to the lives of the people in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
The SADC Extraordinary Summit, scheduled for this Wednesday, is expected to deliberate on the operations of the SADC forces that were deployed in the Eastern DRC on the 15th of December last year, as well as table a way forward for ensuring lasting peace and enhanced peace and security within SADC. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Mount Hampden.
The country's trade promotion agency, Zimtrade, says local exporting industries are showing resilience against internal and global shocks, while earnings are set to reach over $7 billion United States dollars by December.
A Zimbabwe Trade Outlook report by Zimtrade shows that exporting industries have since January faced challenges such as the climate change-induced drought and fluctuating global commodity prices. The trend has resulted in Zimbabwe incurring a 0.4% decrease in export receipts at $5.14 billion United States dollars in the first 9 months from $5.16 billion United States dollars during the same period last year. Despite the challenges, the National Trade Promotion Body is upbeat about an over $7 billion United States dollar target, riding on unmanufactured tobacco exports, horticulture commodities, agricultural inputs, and implements. Zimtrade states that livestock and livestock products, including pharmaceutical exports, will also drive growth in exports this year. However, minerals and alloys exports, despite dominating overall earnings, are projected to register a marginal decline due to the effects of depressed global prices, mainly for the platinum mining industry. Other sectors whose exports are expected to be subdued by the end of the year include the clothing, textile and footwear, building and construction, household, electrical and furniture and leather units. Zimbabwe's top 3 export market destinations include South Africa, United Arab Emirates and China. Government's private sector-led economy agenda has also resulted in more companies importing machinery and equipment. Other imports into the country include raw materials, fuel and electricity, motor vehicles and parts. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilium Mnangagwa, has launched the Africana Family Humanism in Mashonaland East Province with a focus on building strong family homes where children are raised in a dignified manner.
As she forges ahead with building strong marriages in a society that is now characterized by a rise in divorce cases, First Lady Dr. Auxilium Mnangagwa was in Mashonaland East Province this Sunday with the Africana Family Humanism, where she sought to dig deep into the causes of infidelity among married couples. Mashonaland East Province becomes the 8th to benefit from the initiative. The event was attended by thousands from all the districts in the province. Dr. Mnangagwa, through her GBV toll-free number 575, receives calls of couples resorting to infidelity due to various reasons ranging from poor communication, lack of respect, poor hygiene, laziness, and deprivation of conjugal rights. Her Mnangagwa Taikliwa sessions also brought to the fore a lot of issues against parents which have an impact on children's lives, prompting the First Lady to confront the challenge head-on. In a quest to find tangible solutions to the issue, Amai separated men from women for initial discussions before combining the group later.
Mwari vakatisika isu sana mai. Tine zvizhinji zvakatiisa pama shoulders. Uchava mubereki uchanozvara iwe. Iwe uchazvara nyika. Uchaizadza nekuzara kwayo. Uchandira nyika iyo. Uchava mushandi wemhuri yako, uchava mushandi wepa next door, uchava mushandi wenyika yekwako, uchava mushandi wekudzinza rako, ucharwarirwa, uchafirwa iwe pachako ucharwara. Una vana vacharwara, una vana kuchikoro, ndo basa randakupa, chienda pasi apo. Tobva taiswa pasi pano, tine musengwa iwowo. Mwari zvavanoita avazopa musengwa kumunhu wavanoziva kuti haazvigone. Takapiwa musengwa ina Mwari wedu achiziva kuti we are fighters and we win. Tiri vakundi uye tinogona. Vatipa basa iro rose takarigona isu. Takazadza nyika. Kana iye nhasi ari kuti akazoti amai ndinokuda akabuda mudumbu. Iye nhasi ari kuti rova uyu akabuda mudumbu. Ari kuti nyima mari yo tichizoziva kuti mari anayo asaizi kusvika kumba akabuda mudumbu. Kubvira kuti mwana wedu nokuti Mwari akati uchazadza nyika uchazvara. Chizvaro chedu. Mwari ndobva vatipa basa iroro. Asi vatitaurira zvose izvi havana kuzoti uchazohura.
Upon being asked what it is that has resulted in most married women resorting to cheating, the women accused their husbands of neglecting them and not fending for their families. Some openly said they are embarking on revenge cheating, highlighting that sheria vutarekeni. The session also revealed that cheating is not only limited to young women, but it's also being perpetrated by elderly women owing to various reasons. Some women bemoaned disrespect from their husbands owing to the fact that they were married pure, resulting in their husbands leaving them for women who are well experienced in sexual activities.
Isangati chikumbiro kuti ana baba kana vachikwanisa kutsvaga upenyu kuti vanotsvaga mari inotigutsa nemhuri ngavatitsvagire upenyu naivo futi vave mupenyu nokuti kana vakanditsvagira mari ivo vakafa zvichakuita kuti ndonotsvagawo zvinondigutsa.
Dambudziko raakutiwana izvezvi nderekuti varume vacho vari kushusha, vari kunetsa, havasi kutipa chikafu, havasi kutichengeta mudzimba, havasi kuchengeta mhuri. Ndoti regai ndibudewo ndinosunza kunze uko, ndinotsvagawo zvandinotsvaga kunze, akundiisa runyoka. Runyoka rwanetsa mhai.
Isusu vana vedu takungobuda tisina chatinoziva, tisina zvimwe zvinhu zvataiswa nanatete kuti tiite izvi. Saka izvozvo zvinofanira kuitwa. Murume uyu akazobuda akaenda kunoona marwei, hakusina chakanaka.
After some women had aired out their marital problems, their colleagues could be heard encouraging them to resort to revenge cheating.
Zvirwere zvema-STI zviri kuuya mumba mama. Unonobaiwa injection nababoko. Modzoka hapana 3 months. Siki yadzoka zvekare. Ndibaba vane 50 something years. Iwewe hauna kuunza. Vabuda avarambeba. Vadzoka zvekare. Nesiki yadzoka mumba mama. Saka ndangandane pfungwa dzekubuda mumba.
Amai Mnangagwa also invited elderly women from the community to give wise counsel to the women.
Upenyu hwacho hwakaoma. Tinosangana nezvakasiyana-siyana. Asi ndafara kuti mama vatanga nekutisimbisa. Kunzwisisa kuti isu semadzimai takamboireko panyika kuzodii. Simba rakaiswa matiri naMwari rakamira sei. Panguva yatikurarama mama, madzimai arikuitabarika kudzoka. Ndonyaya dziri kutouya idzo dzokukanselingi. Kuona murume mukuru achichema zvechokwadi achibudisa misodzi. Kuti hazvina kumira zvakanaka kumba kwangu. But isi tikungotenda kuti matiunganidza kudai tinobuda nechimwe chinhu chinotibatsira. Kuti kana tadzokera kudzimba dzedu uko, dzimba dzedu dzinonovakika.
Men had their separate session where they also poured their hearts out.
Dzimba dzedu dzaane vamwe vanodzitonga vari panze. Pandiri kuzosangana nemudzimai wangu ane vari kumukocha, vari kumuudza kuti murume hanzo, ari murume haatenderi kuti adaiso. Saka kunyangwe tikadya zvinodyiwa, kunyangwe tikada kusvika kubulawayo, but mukadzi wangu haasi ready.
After the separate sessions, Dr. Mnangagwa addressed all participants.
Isa mainda zoti, aiwa ngatigarei zvakanaka. Ngatichidananai, nasi so, titange kudanana nasi. Rurukudzo rwamunenge mangondipawo saamai venyu. Kuti zvakatadzwa nezvakaitwa, aiwa ngazvipere, nasi ngatichitanga patsva, nokuti kuna vana vatinavo. Tina vana, muchiona takadai hatisi kudzokera pasi tiri kuchembera. Asi tichichembera, tichada kuchengetwa navana, vatisina kuzoona kukura kwavo kwakanaka. Ndoda kukutendai nokuya kwamaita, nokuti tizotaura tivake imba yedu.
The men and women were also afforded a platform to highlight issues that have driven them to step out, providing possible solutions to their grievances.
Vana maimba takakupfimba imaidadisa muchizvimaketa muri kabhebhi kachigeza kachionekera handiti chimaintenaiwo standard iroro mamumba.
Timukacherechedza kudare kwataienda kuvasikana vaigona kunge vaine 14 years. Asi aisvika pakuroorwa aine 34 years ari mhandara. Kureva kuti aidzidziswa kuchengeta imba, asi aidzidziswawo zvakanakira kuchengeta umhandara hwacho asati awana imba.
Mukadzi anoda kudiwa. Ndo zvaakabvira kumba kwavo naye. Zvino kana mumba kuitwa kunge mwana kunge chikorobho. Vanhurume vazhinji kutuka, mwatotuka nezaka kwakabva mudzimai. Kutuka nevabereki vakasara ikoko. Zvino unozorakidzwa sei rudo naamai ivavo. Magurupu amunopinda vana amai. Nhasi uno hakusina madzitete achanyasorayira sezvaitwa chinyakare. Magurupu ndo mama akuona zvimwe. Asi ndiri kuti aiwa kufamba kwenguva kupindana kwemazuva. Pindaiwo magurupu emadzimai ari mudzimba. Musati iwo uri mumba wakupinda gurupu revasikana vaya. Nyaya huru iri kunyanya kunetsa mudzimba ndeye mari. Wawana $5 kana $10. Ipa mudzimai ndiko kabhengi kako kadiki. Aikona kuti mudzimai azoiwana nemistake achiwacha. Wakanganwa kuchinja muhomwe yetirauzi.
Sekuru havachandiudzawo inini kuti gogo chikamu chedu chabva kuvana chasvika, gadzirai tiende kunotenga zvokuti tirarame tiri mumba. Sekuru vakunotora marwei, ndiwo vakunoshanda naye kunondichuzira grosari rangu ini nambuya. Vouya nezvandisingade, ini mwoyo wangu wotsutsumwa, ivo vofara neshamwari yavo. Saka inini sagogo ndingagozovapo zvakanaka sei.
Vana vakomana taitovabvunza utiri kuchikoro kuti iwewe zvaunozotsvaga virgin, iwewe uri virgin here? point number 1. Iwewe paunoenda uchino vata nevanhu vakawanda vauchivabvisa virginity uri kuvasiyirani nekuti mukadzi wawabvisa virginity iwewe uchibva wamusiya uchiti ndira kuroora nedegree kana kuti ndira kuroora azodiwa namai vangu akutonzi pfambi pati asiri pfambi. Saka nyaya yevirginity ndazoitaura futi ndikati murume akaroora virgin ndiye murume anonyanyobuda kunze chaizvo kuda kunotsvaga futi. Tirena mudzimai wako zvaunoda muudze zvauri kutsvaga kwete kuti unonotsvaga uko. Nhasi varume vakutisiya mudzimba vachitiramwira vana vachada kuchengeta vana vakabereka. Tiri kuchengeta vana kuenda kuzvikoro kubhadhara maschool fees zvese kuti mwana adya kuti mwana apfeka taakumira tega. Varume vari kubereka vana vasade kuchengeta. Ndarara mumarket ndichitengesa kuti wanaone zvinoraramisa ndonyura kumusika ikokoko. Kana tichenda zoonawo boyfriend kati inotira ndiudze kuti ndinoiramba here.
Inini ndanga ndiri kuda kutobuda kutoita barika. Ndamumba umu tashungurudzika nevarume ava. Unoroorwa nemurume woti aiwa mereji yekutanga yaramba. Rega indipindewo yepiri nditsvagewo dhara rangu. Rine 50 something years tichengetani. Aiwa dhara iro rinoramba richingobuda bedzi. Saka inini ndiri kuti mambo ndandafunga kutobudawo ndandashingirira ka. Zvino ndochidii nhai amai vangu.
Ndakaroorwawo nditori mhandara yairayirwa naatete nekuda kwechechi zvekare. Ndikapinda mba ndine rufaro. Sipo idzodzi ndiri kungogezwa nemabhabhobha tatakadzidziswa namama kuratidza kuti ndiri kupenya. Kune vai vangu vachiti hamuzi kugeza, tiri kugeza. Tiri kutobikawo zvakanaka. Asi taedza zvese gogo idzodzo ndiri kutopfekawo ndaimbopfeka mini. Muri kuona dzandakupfeka kaidzi. Ndati pamwe ndo zvavaida, but vari kuzviramba futi. Saka amai tiri kuti mudzimbamo tiri kuda kugara. Asi varume vedu ava amai, tashaya recipe yavanoda. Vakati zvipfupi tapfeka, zvipo taita. Tashaya amai kuti todii nevanhurume, tinovada varume vedu asi ivo zvakangoma havaziva kuti munyu, uri mugaba munyu, uri mupurasitiki munyu, takafanana amai.
Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mashonaland East Province, Senator Apollonia Mderengwi, applauded Dr. Mnangagwa for her well-thought-out initiatives.
Tinokutendai makauya kuno nezvirongwa zvakasiyana-siyana zvekusimudzira vechidiki pamwechete nevakwegura. Ndimi amai makatanga nechirongwa chenhangagota chakatekeshera nyika yese. Mukauya nenyaya yekutidzosera pachikafu chedu chatekeshera nyika yese. Chinodai kudai chatengwa nedzimwe nyika. Mhuri yeMashonaland East tibetserei kutenda amai vedu.
Chief Shoshe echoed the same sentiments.
Muono wenyu amai semadzimambo samambo Shoshe masvika panhongonya yemudzimba kuti vanhu vagare zvakanaka. Tinokutendai amai. Tinotenda baba ivo president vedu vaMnangagwa vanokupai nguva yekusangana nemhuri dzenyu munyika. Aiwa tinoda kukutendai.
Dr. Mnangagwa, in her generosity, treated the elderly and traditional chiefs to an early Christmas with an assortment of groceries. She also donated tons of rice to be distributed in the communities. An empowerment champion, Amai Mnangagwa also introduced Mokando in all the districts of Mashonaland East Province, and as a motivational factor, she will also be part of the program. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Marondera.
Well, the First Lady there, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, facilitating the sharing of education on how to build strong and resilient families. And talking about education, ministers of education and educationists from East and Southern Africa have converged in Harare for the Southern and Eastern Africa Consortium for Monitoring Educational Quality Convention. Deliberations are focusing on the quality of education systems in the region.
Provision of quality education was high on the agenda during the SADC convention held in Harare this Monday. The two-day convention is a platform for ministers of education and educationists from East and Southern Africa to reflect on how the education sector can be improved to produce a quality learner. Officially opening the convention, Zimbabwe's Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Torerai Moyo, who is also chairperson of SADC, said ongoing research has helped influence policy changes towards transforming the African education sector.
We are proud to have built a reliable and respected system
for educational assessment. Through the dedication of our team and the cooperation of member states, we have not only been able to measure educational outcomes, but also influence policy changes.
Malawi Deputy Minister of Education, Mrs. Nancy Chaola Mdoko, spoke on the importance of uniting to address challenges still faced by various countries in the education sector.
We are building togetherness so that together we can improve the quality of education. And I believe together as Southern and Eastern African countries will improve the quality of education.
SACMEC has successfully completed 4 large-scale studies which are having huge impact on the education sector in East and Southern Africa, with most countries, including Zimbabwe, having adopted new curriculums. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
The government is set to license additional community radio stations as parts of efforts to promote access to information across the country. We get more details from the upcoming report.
Issues around creating a conducive working environment for community radio stations, their funding mechanisms, and the need to fast-track the completion of the Zim Digital project dominated proceedings during the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe's strategic review meeting currently underway in Kadoma. Buzz authorities revealed that at least 10 more community radio station licenses are now due for gazetting amid calls for current license holders to pay their subscriptions, which are reportedly overdue and neglected.
We are moving into the future by inviting calls for 10 community radio stations, and also we are planning on giving more licenses to new players in the commercial broadcasting sector.
Firstly, is the project that have been running for the time, the DTT project, the Zim Digital. I think there are ways in which people have to look at how alternative funding can be sourced, if possible.
Representatives of community radio stations also reflected on some of the issues under discussion.
We are hoping that the Broadcasting Authority can have a community radio support fund which can help community radio stations with backup infrastructure.
We believe that they should reduce licensing fees for community radio stations, but we are also requesting that the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe engages ZACRAS, especially at initial stages of licensing.
The Deputy Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Ompile Marope, said government will continue to open broadcasting spaces to enhance access to information across the country.
I think we are on track because we are here to review what we had actually put in place the previous year, and now going forward, what are we going to agree so that at the end of the day, each one of us who is here is going to carry their cross and implement what we have discussed and agreed upon.
Government, through the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, has since issued licenses to over 10 community radio stations, with campus radio stations also being licensed. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Kadoma.
Government, in partnership with UNICEF, has launched the Climate Change Impact on Children's Health report at the Zimbabwe Pavilion on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations Climate Change Conference in Azerbaijan.
Told the perspectives from children and caregivers in Zimbabwe, the report noted the need to prioritize children to be at the center of the global response, with key emphasis on environmental health. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Ambassador Thaddeus Chifamba, noted the need for a climate-smart education system and ensuring the nutritional needs of vulnerable populations in disaster-prone provinces are met.
We expect that this report will equip the government and stakeholders with increased knowledge on climate change impacts on child health, enabling evidence-based planning and targeted interventions.
For UNICEF, the report is complemented by efforts to ensure the national social protection system is child-sensitive, gender and shock responsive.
We'll ensure that children are part of the discussion and young people are part of the discussion, and will include clear provisions for increasing investments in things that help children.
The confirmed impacts stated by children and caregivers through this consultation process that was done across Zimbabwe, across all the provinces, the districts and the wards, include food insecurity leading to malnutrition, as well as coping mechanisms like increased child marriages, all of which are linked to stress-induced climate-related droughts.
The devastating effects of climate change are being felt, with destructive weather events becoming the new normal globally, as each year people tragically lose their lives, livelihoods, vital infrastructure being damaged, and the economy hit. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Baku.
Now, for these and more stories, be sure to log on to our website. That's www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also visit our X handle. That's at ZBC News Online. And Facebook, again, it is at ZBC News Online. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at ZBC News Online.
And here are stories to expect in this bulletin. In business, Zimbabwe's manufacturing industry on course to achieving above 60% annual capacity utilization. And in sport, Warriors take on the indomitable Lions of Cameroon in a 2025 AFCON qualifier this Tuesday. We'll give you these and other stories in detail after these messages. Stay with us.
When my husband died, I didn't know where to turn. But when I met Tando, I realized I was not alone. She introduced me to a group of amazing women. They supported me through hard times. They taught me what it was to feel joy again. And I'm grateful for the friends who are there for me. After all, we all need a friend. Zimgold, your trusted friend.
Start your week off right with the TM Pick and Pay's Monday and Tuesday bonus savings. Unlock big savings and make the most of your weekly budget. TM Pick and Pay. Real value always.
Unwrap a world of entertainment with DSTV.
All right.
Wow.
It's who I am. Time for you to see the world.
The only thing that is important is happiness. That's the reason why I'm here. Wish me like.
This is where all the fun times are happening.
There we go again.
Fantastic goal.
Join me. Experience the magic with DSTV, your home of entertainment.
Thank you for staying with us, and if you have just joined us, this is the main news. Now, government mobile one-stop centers are intensifying the fight against gender-based violence by delivering critical services to rural communities and empowering survivors to seek help and rebuild their lives.
From counseling to medical to legal services, this mobile one-stop center is providing critical services to survivors of gender-based violence.
Mina uhlupho lami ngifuna abantwana. So mangifuna abantwana indoda yami ngithalela ibhembu. Ngihamba chiko mama wabe thatha ibhembu esathatha abantwana. So umama esithi ulanda abantwana uthi uyamchaya ngebhembu lami lapha ngilapha ehlathini ngicachile wathi ngambona uyangigamla ngebhembu.
Bangenza le counseling. Ngemva kokuthi sebengenze i-counseling ngahamba lami ngakuhluzisisa ngesekhaya. So namhlanje ngithe ngibuya lapha basebengibuza ukuthi kwakhona so wakuhluzisisa wabona ngasemva nje ukuthi hayi mina sengigaye ukuthi ubaba wabantwana nje wasehlukana ngimfake ku-maintenance because abantwana bakhe kasapoti.
Ubaba lami engamphathi kahle so babuya bangikhansela banjela ukuthi hayi mama so kumele kube nje so kwakhanya ukuthi labo makhelwane yabo bonke laba babe belohlupho olunjengolwakho so sabona khona ukudibana singomama sixoxisana ngama problems ethu yazi kuyasenza sehle kwezinye izinto ngoba sabe sibonisana ukuthi khathesi singadibanisa lokhu lalokhu kukhona okungasiphilisa.
Through the Women at the Center program, the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Small and Medium Enterprise Development has partnered with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Musasa and other stakeholders to create a safe haven for survivors of gender-based violence.
We have come to this village to offer the services where the key service providers for the legal aspect. We have the victim-friendly unit and our legal officer.
We are supporting the Women at the Center program, piloted here in Bubi district, which we identified because it's a hard-to-reach district. Women are traveling long distances to access services. A lot is happening. There's high rates of child marriages, teen pregnancies are happening.
The Women at the Center program, which was launched in February this year, will be cascaded to other parts of the country as government intensify efforts to end gender-based violence. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Bobi.
And on that note, we cross over to our Montrose studios where Dora Nguve is on standby. Good evening, Dora.
Thank you so much, Justin and Tariro, for taking us on for the first part of the bulletin. A lovely evening to you. A group of 4 investors from Czech Republic and the United Kingdom, including a former world number 8 tennis player, Radek Stepanek, are exploring business opportunities in Zimbabwe's energy and private healthcare sectors.
Zimbabwe's improving investment climate, characterized by economic reforms, continues to attract foreign investors, with former world number 8 tennis player Radek Stepanek and other 3 investors currently exploring investment opportunities in the city of Bulawayo. A key focus of the investors is to foster knowledge transfer between Zimbabwean universities and innovation hubs and the Czech Republic and United Kingdom consortium.
So with my business partners here, we are in Zimbabwe, on a mission to help and introduce what we have as a very, very new fuel additive technology, which has been developed over the last 4 years. We've undertaken some very rigorous testing in Europe on multiple applications, including trucks, cars, vans, trains, locomotives, and even static generators.
The local healthcare sector is set to benefit from proposed investments by the Czech Republic and United Kingdom delegation.
So together with our fuel additive project, we are also exploring the possibilities to partner with the private sector, health private sector, and explore the possibility to bring the state-of-the-art medical center here in Zimbabwe.
Government continues to focus largely on providing the best environment for businesses to thrive, with increased foreign direct investments critical to the realization of Zimbabwe's Vision 2030, which envisions an empowered, prosperous and highly industrialized country. Elandmoy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Bulawayo's Deputy Mayor Edwin Ndlovu, who was arrested by the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission last Friday, has been remanded in custody until the 29th of November.
Having appeared in court on Saturday, Bulawayo's Deputy Mayor Edwin Ndlovu and the Council's Finance Committee Chairperson Mpumelelo Moyo have been remanded in custody and will be back in court on the 29th of this month. The 2 in question are alleged to have solicited a bribe of 20,000 United States dollars from Tsitsima Pfumo, who is the coordinator for a Chinese company called Labenmon Investments, on the pretext that the money was a reward for 20 councillors who facilitated and approved the allocation of 5.6 hectares of land, which was given to the company for the construction of a cement mixing plant in the city. The court has it on record that on the 11th of November, Moyo went to the complainant's place of residence and demanded the total sum of the money so as to distribute it evenly among the councillors who allegedly facilitated in the offer for land. Feeling pressured, the complainant reportedly contacted officers from the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission who allegedly moved in swiftly and proceeded to use trap money that led to the arrest of Moyo. According to court papers, Ndlovu was arrested as an accomplice who allegedly compiled the list of 20 councillors who were supposed to share the proceeds. The duo was denied bail on the basis that they are a flight risk. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Department of Civil Protection and its partners have heightened disaster preparedness initiatives to close response gaps as the rainfall season begins.
Following reports of unexpected flash floods and river flooding along Save River in the disaster-prone area of Chibuwe and Chipinge, there was a mock report of drowning incident that saw community members rushing to the alleged scene of disaster. Upon reaching the river, community members concurred a missing young girl had been taken by a mermaid and sought the help of local traditional healers to attend to the incident in line with their cultural beliefs.
Juzi yakambotora futi umwe munhu painjina last year batwana nditi yakambotora futi munhu asi pasina mwedzi miiri apa yakabva futi uku ichikrosa uku
munhu wacho weyo watorwa futi unenge wane mhongo dzemvura zvokuti asaifanira atombosvika kunoko.
The locals were later to learn that government through the Department of Civil Protection with the support from development partners conducted a flood simulation exercise to test the response by the local civil protection unit and the community with a view to plugging gaps.
The Provincial Civil Protection Committee, in collaboration with the Department of Civil Protection Committee, organized a simulation exercise today in Chibuwe Ward 20. Chibuwe Ward 20 is prone to floods, so the idea was to test how ready the District Civil Protection Committee is.
The flood and drowning simulation was followed by a school's flood drill at 3 schools in Chibuwe to improve disaster preparedness in the area.
The siren is rung and there's a point that was designated in the school where they would congregate in a fashion that is again rehearsed.
Chipinge and Chimanimani are the hardest hit areas in terms of disasters, with the 2019 cyclone Idai being the worst to devastate the 2 districts. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Chipinge.
Zimbabwe this Saturday celebrated Africa Prisons and Correctional Service Day. The event cast the spotlight on the need to create correctional facilities where human rights are upheld, with each inmate getting opportunities to acquire knowledge and skills for easy reintegration into society.
Scores of people, including inmates, gathered at Chikurubi Dam View and Events Garden in Harare to celebrate Africa Prisons and Correctional Service Day for Harare Metropolitan Province. The need to empower inmates so that they can easily be reintegrated into society dominated the proceedings.
Zuwairi rakatinakira nekuti nhasi semhuri kubva mativi mana ese enyika vanhu vauya kuno kuChikurubi kuDam View kuzosangana nehama dzavo, hama vari muhusungwa nemastakeholders ari pano zvakare.
Tinonatsoziva zvizere kuti tiri kurangarirwawo nehurumende yeZimbabwe vachitorangarirawo isu tiri mukati memajeri.
Chikurubi Prison Farm Officer in Charge Chief Superintendent Charles Nyamasoka highlighted the significance of Africa Prisons and Correctional Service Day in advancing the offender rehabilitation process.
Mukuvandudza kwatiri kuita kugara kumajere ino rimwe donzo redu gurusa rekuti tinge tichivandudza zvinhu izvo tichiita kuti community nevasungwa tivasebedze pedyo nepedyo pamwe chete vachisangana vachiwadzana nekuti we'll be preparing musungwa uya kuti anodzokera musociety.
Guest of honor and Harare Metropolitan Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Senator Charles Tawengwa, said government is committed to creating a conducive environment for inmates.
The government is committed to creating correctional facilities where human rights are upheld and where every inmate has the opportunity to acquire knowledge and skills that will enable them to reintegrate into society as productive and responsible citizens.
The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service has undergone remarkable transformation in recent years, shifting its focus from punishment to rehabilitation. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The private sector is calling upon the Zimbabwean and Zambian governments to streamline policies and implement effective strategies to invest into new energy projects.
The first ever Zimbabwe-Zambia Energy Project Summit is intended to expose the obstacles that are causing the limited inflow of funding to Zambia and Zimbabwe in the face of energy challenges. In his address, guest of honor at the summit, Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga said that it is imperative that the private sector and government come up with a collaborative approach in order to create a conducive environment that attracts investment into the sector.
While we have made significant progress in expanding electricity access, far too many of our citizens, particularly in rural and under-served areas, still lack reliable energy. This limited access means fewer economic opportunities, lower standards of living, and slower industrial growth. At this summit, we must commit to finding innovative solutions that increase investment in both on-grid and off-grid energy solutions. We must harness the power of new technologies, such as solar mini-grids, energy storage systems, and smart grids to bring electricity to even the remotest corners of our countries.
The ministers of energy from Zambia and Zimbabwe also laid out their projects and policy interventions in order to plug the energy crisis gap.
We are committed to creating an attractive energy investment destination, leveraging innovative and profitable renewable energy solutions to reach universal access targets. Our focus areas include scaling up renewable energy, expanding solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy capacity to reduce dependence on fossil fuels.
Zimbabwe and Zambia rely on the Kariba Dam for its hydroelectric energy, but due to declining water levels on the dam, the two countries have faced power challenges, hence the need to come up with a sustainable energy mix in order to avert any potential energy crisis. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
And that's it from our Montrose News Desk. Tariro and Justin, it's back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Dora. Indeed, we carry on with the news bulletin from our Pocket Hill studios. Over 1,000 residents at Masekera in Guruve are benefiting from the installation of a new piped water scheme initiated by the government and its partner, Charity Water, to improve water availability in the area. More details in the upcoming report.
Water challenges have become a thing of the past in Masekera, Guruve, following the commissioning of a piped water scheme to cater for 1,017 villagers in line with Vision 2030.
chirongwa chemvura tachifarira tachigamuchira mugure district redu nekuda kwokuti semadzimai taitove nedambudziko dzimwe nguva rekunga kuma2 kuma3 tinogarira mumatsime aiwanika mvura ichizosvika pakupera.
Kuno kunyanhunzi primary tine vana vechikoro vanoita ivo 795 asi mvura vese vakukwanisa kuiwana ichibva padistance ye2.9 kilometers.
A newly constructed disability-friendly latrine also handed over to Imelda Masekera, who lives with disability, signaling a commitment to inclusive development.
Toilet iyo ndakavakirwa tase mune mapatiri ekuti ndikwanise kufamba nawo ayo zvese mvura yapadhuze.
Government is upbeat. Masekera piped water scheme will promote sustainable development and improve public health.
Zvokutarisirwa kana nemukuru wenyika kuti vanhu varerukirwe neupenyu. Takanangana nekuzadzisa Vision 2030 where every one of us is expected to be at an upper middle income economy level. Saka izvi zvinoitika kuburikidza nekutanga tadevelopa infrastructure togadzirisa nyaya dzemvura dzemagetsi.
We have managed to rehabilitate about 78 boreholes in Guruve district, drilled new boreholes 36 over 36, and we have also established 8 pipe water schemes.
Improved water and sanitation are part of the Vision 2030 targets, with the country seeking to become an upper middle income society by 2030. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Guruve.
We take a break. We'll return with business shortly.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at a discount. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will display the discount you qualify for. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies you won't find anywhere else. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Get your business ready for the festive season with ZBC. Join us for the ZBC Mega Festive Business Promotion running from the 1st of November of 2024 all the way to January 31 of 2025. Enjoy an incredible cash discount of over 50% across all ZBC platforms. This is your opportunity to make your business shine. So celebrate with ZBC and watch your business thrive by simply booking your spot right now. For more information, call Tandeka on 0719 594 426 or Martha on 0719 593 532 or Precious on 0719 593 510 or email tandeka.mubi@zbc.co.zw. Terms and conditions apply.
If you drink, be responsible.
Welcome back. Zimbabwe's manufacturing sector is on a drive to increase production propelled by new plant installations in line with national aspirations to attain an upper middle income economy by 2030.
It emerged during the commissioning of equipment for a local retrading tire entity this Monday that the country's manufacturing industry is on course to achieve an annual capacity utilization of above 60%. With millions of United States dollars being invested by the manufacturing sector, it is the thrust to modernize operations that has charmed the industry value chains.
We have got now the latest plant in the country. It's in the last 30 years, no one has brought in this quality of plant. It has lots of new technology, lots of computerized technology that allows us to produce a much better and safer product at a much more affordable cost than we previously could. We've been given so much support by government, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Ministry of Finance and ZIMRA to be able to take the time that we needed to install this plant.
A rise in local product stock, a reduced import bill, growth in exports, employment opportunities coupled with a growing productivity base has seen a government committing to more incentives for manufacturing entities.
Retooling was a primary area of focus, and I'm happy to say that we have received not less than $1.5 billion worth of investment, driven mainly by Zimbabweans. There hasn't been much FDI in the manufacturing retooling. Yes, it's been here and there, we have seen it, but really we need to applaud such investors, homegrown, they are bringing in equipment, top 20% in Africa. It tells you that they are here to stay, they are supporting the president's vision.
In line with the Vision 2030 aspirations, Zimbabwe will next year unveil the second phase of the Industrialization Development Roadmap to consolidate the current gains. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
We take a break for sports.
ZBC Current Affairs, thriving for excellence and perfection in setting the agenda, shaping the Zimbabwean story and sustaining the narrative through detailed analysis and discussions, bringing to you polished live coverage of national events. We are ZBC Current Affairs, delivering to you the national budget, live parliamentary debates, independence, Heroes Day and Defense Forces events. We bring you insightful documentaries, special programs, and thought-provoking debates. ZBC Current Affairs, we are definitely Zimbabwean, telling an accurate, balanced, and unfettered Zimbabwean story.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Warriors are seeking to conclude their 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualification campaign on a high as they take on Cameroon at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé this Tuesday.
Zimbabwe take on the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, having already secured qualification for next year's tournament. Both countries will be the tournament in Morocco, but tomorrow's battle is for control of the group, with the West Africans on top with 11 points, while the Warriors are 2 points behind. With qualification guaranteed, Warriors head coach Michael Nice has resisted the temptation of ringing changes.
You need to take every game serious because it counts on the FIFA ranking, and the better your FIFA ranking, the better your seedings in the next thing, and so on. So it has consequences. On the other side, we didn't lose a game yet, 5 games. We want to continue like that. But also look at the players, how they, I'm sure 3 or 4 players went maybe above the limit today. And I must see how we can assemble a squad which can face Cameroon. A few other players maybe also deserve a chance.
Zimbabwe need nothing short of victory to top the group, but we have to do it without defender Gerald Takwara and vice-captain Masha Munetsi, who are nursing injuries. Captain Marvelous Nakamba might be rested as he continues his rehabilitation from a long-term injury after playing the full 90 minutes. The match kicks off at 3 p.m. Zimbabwean time. Lawrence Trusera, ZBC News, Harare.
And on to the domestic scene. Low-veiled side Triangle United are on the verge of making a dramatic comeback into the Premier Soccer League after toppling Eastern Region Division 1 pace-setters FC Wangu Mazodze, following an impressive 5-1 victory over Destiny at the weekend.
It is no coincidence that the nickname Doctor of Zimbabwean football resonates with Luke Masomere. The self-proclaimed doctor seems to have a template to guide teams to the top flight league, having done it with Manika Diamonds. Now in charge of the Sugar Boys, Masomere is oozing with confidence after seeing his side topple long-term log leaders FC Wangu Mazotse from the summit of the Zifa Eastern Region Division 1 League.
I think the writing is on the wall for everybody to see. We started the season very, very badly. And when I took over, the team was very lowly on the log standing, and even the performance and also the results were not pleasing. But we started picking up points and closing the gap. And as time progressed, we found ourselves vying for championship. Now we are on top of the log. We now won the championship. It's not yet over. It's still game on. And I want to tell our multitude of supporters that the way they are supporting the team, it makes my job very easy. Just continue coming to the games in numbers to cheer up the team. We will do the rest.
Triangle United topped the standings with 66 points, the same as second place the Wangu Mazotse, who were held to a nil-all stalemate by Mutare City at the weekend. Third place the Tenax are 3 points behind with 2 matches to go before the end of the season. Meanwhile, Highlanders Football Club have appointed former club administrator Brian Moyo as the club's new chief executive officer. Mchokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
ZDF Queens lifted the Premier Netball League trophy after an undefeated season that ended this Sunday with a Bulawayo bubble played at White City Stadium.
It was an exciting weekend at White City Stadium in Bulawayo as the final bubble of the season came to an end, seeing the crowning of ZDF Queens as the 2024 netball champions after an undefeated season. With 3-time defending champions Platinum Queens having disbanded their team, ZDF Queens quickly took advantage. The final match was an all-army affair as ZDF Queens took on Black Rhinos Queens, and in the end it was ZDF Queens that won 47-45. 16 teams converged in a show-stopping performance, with team players calling for more grassroots development of the sport so that youngsters can carry the ropes when the senior netball team players lay the torch down.
Panyaya junior police zviri right vakaguruma majuniors kuti so that kana masenior players akuno withdraw paipaya hapasari pane gap.
Abazali bethu abasikhuthazeli ukudlala imidlalo le ngoba andilabo ukuthi abantwana abaningi sebehamba emazweni ngomdlalo nalo, so kumele besimotivate bengasehlisi.
Tanga takabatwa zvangasinotimirira zvakanaka asi tikutarisira kuti next season tinenge tichita zviri nani.
The Premier Netball League is worried Bulawayo is failing to build stronger teams.
As it is, we have no Premier League team in Matabeleland, but we have managed to have a team in Bedbridge, in Mwenezi, in Mashingo, in Marondera, in Mutare, and Harare, Greater Harare. Our main wish is to have teams all over Zimbabwe.
Black Rhinos Queens finished second, with Harare City Queens in third position. The top 3 teams are set to represent Zimbabwe at the AUSC Zone 6 Games next year. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The ZANU-PF Youth League in Matabeleland South has taken a proactive approach in tackling the drug and substance abuse in rural communities through a roving football and netball tournament.
Dubbed the Kembo Mohadi tournament in honor of the ruling party second secretary and vice president, the roving tournament is ongoing across the 12 constituencies of Matabeleland South Province as the Youth League takes the fight against drug and substance abuse head on. In Insisa South constituents, where 12 football and 13 netball teams battled it out, the message remained the same, that drugs are a threat to the future.
Ngoba my youth vela amaningi asephumile entweni zezidakamizwa sebengena ku sports abantu abaningi.
My youth sinanzelela ukuthi khona insizwa South yiyo asebeyizakhamizi, so ukufundisana nge-domestic violence.
Li tournament ama youth iyasivuselela lathi njengabomama ukuthi sikwazi ukuzisebenzela, sikwazi ukuphanda lapha lalaphana njengama youth angabomama.
ZANU-PF of Matabeleland South Provincial Youth League chairperson Comrade Moses Langa said the tournaments are meant to rally the youths behind the government's call to shun drug and substance abuse.
Esikutsho njengama youth ukuthi kulama opportunities amaningi esilawo eswaphiwa umongameli. Umongameli usinikile ama stands, umongameli usinikile ama plots uthi siyelima. Umongameli usinikile inkomo ukuthi siyegcina inkomo sifuye. Umongameli uyenzile iproject yama goat. Umongameli uyenzile iproject eyenkukhu ukuthi sebenzani.
Government has accelerated awareness campaigns on drug and substance abuse, targeting adults, youth and children, with loans having been made available to youths across the country to engage in income-generating projects. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News in Caesar.
It's now time for us to give you the weather report.
Thank you for joining us. It is time for your evening weather report and forecast. I hope I find you well. Well, thunder showers in some parts of the country with heavy falls in places. Logan Park in Harare with 56 millimeters, Ashton Park 41, Norton had 25 millimeters. And we expect isolated showers over areas along and to the north of the main watershed as moisture continues to be drawn from the west. In the satellite images received this afternoon, they show cloud over the northern half of the country, giving you those partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers from time to time. Our areas to the south should be enjoying more of sunshine than cloud. Now, for the minimum temperatures expected tomorrow, we expect Harare to be having 18 degrees Celsius, same for Gokwe, 19 for Bulawayo, Victoria Falls, 22, same for Chirezi, Mutare with 16, Gwanda 21, and Kariba 27. Very hot conditions expected for the maximum. Along the Zambezi Valley, the Kariba with 39, Victoria Falls 38, 37 expected at Chirezi, Harare with 29. Well, partly cloudy conditions expected at Bulawayo there. Chinoi, partly cloudy conditions expected again with isolated showers from time to time. Gwanda, plenty of sunshine expected with your maximum temperatures in the lower 30s. Beru, partly cloudy conditions from time to time, isolated showers here and there. Same for Harare, partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers expected. Kadoma, maximum temperatures in the upper 30s. Kariba, partly cloudy conditions expected from time to time. Lupane, your maximum temperatures between 37 and 38 degrees Celsius. Kwekwe, partly cloudy conditions, chance of an isolated shower here and there. Plenty of sunshine over Masvingo with your maximum temperatures in the lower 30s. Windy conditions are for Matopos on Wednesday. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine over that area. Nyanga, cool conditions expected under partly cloudy conditions. Victoria Falls, very hot conditions, 39 to 40 degrees expected. Well, Zimbabwe, that does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report and Forecast. Let's make a date again tomorrow. Good evening, Zimbabwe.
And that puts a cap on tonight's news bulletin. We'll do this again tomorrow from all of us at Pocket Hill Studios as well as our Montrose Studios. Have a good night.
Good night.
Eastern Forest Private Limited is a Standards Association of Zimbabwe certified port treatment plant.